Hi guys, welcome back to Sunday League to Champions League. My name is Chris, aka Big Will, and today we are welcoming to Club 3, which is going to be Brentford. Now, unfortunately, they got relegated from the Premier League on the last day of the season, so we are moving into the Championship. It'll be interesting to see where the squad's at. I'm not too sure what players are left over from the ones that obviously were there at the start of when the save would have been, but we're 7 seasons in now, so there's going to be names that we don't recognise, but at the same time, there should be names there that we do recognise. Media prediction says 17th there. I'm not, unless they think that we're still in the Premier League, so that's obviously going to be a little bit wrong. Superb training facilities, superb youth facilities, above average youth recruitment. We'll look to improve that immediately. Um, their stadium's at 21,000 for the Championship. That's absolutely perfect. In terms of budgets, obviously transfer budget just says 100,000 at the moment, with wage budget very, very high. I am hoping that, depending on what players we've got here, the likelihood is some of them are going to be on big wages, so we will have to offload some of them without a doubt. But at the same time, we might be able to keep some of them, but lessen the wages, which would also work out well. But we'll see how we get on. Obviously, there's a lot of loans in and out of the club at the minute. That's something we can look at going forward. So they want us to sign players under the age of 23 for the first team. We've been doing that at Dundee United, so that is something that the board were happy with when we agreed to become the manager. Obviously, they don't want us to sign any older players, so again, that works for me. They want us to be competitive in the FA Cup and the League Cup, and they want us to gain automatic promotion to the Premier League. So again, it's always going to be a tough ask in the Championship, but we'll see how we get on from there. They want us to play attacking and entertaining football. I obviously we've done this counter-attacking system with Dundee United. It does seem to work. Now, in a league such as the Championship, with the squad that we have at the moment, we might be able to go a little bit more forward thinking. But I might also keep the tactics similar. We'll have to make an evaluation of the squad and see how we get her on. They want us to get the better of rivals QPR and Fulham, become an established Premier Division team in the future and avoid relegation, etc. So, certainly a forward thinking club, and hopefully, like I say, we will be able to develop the team a little bit. But overall, I'm not entirely sure what to expect from this. I don't know a lot of the players that we've got at the minute. I am fully aware that Brian Mbeumo and Ivan Toney are still at the club. But again, they are on big money, so it could be something that we have to look into. Um, in terms of transfers, again, I don't know what kind of budgets we're going to have or anything like that either. So again, it's going to be really something to look into. And as you can see, Tony, Embuemo, Salisu, Posh, David, Jallo, and Billerud all want to leave the club. Cassidy wants to move to a bigger club. Sorensen and Urslev want to move on for a new challenge. So there's a lot of things to consider right now. And my word, have we got a lot of work to do with this squad, with all of them wanting to leave. They like the Gegenpress system, they like the tiki-taka, and they like wing play. I mean, Gegenpress I've not done for a while. Fluid counter-attack worked at Dundee United, but they do like the Gegenpress. I am very tempted. But it's a case of what kind of squad we're going to end up with, so I'm not really sure I want to commit to anything just yet, but I'm going to have to move on. So, what to do? I'll have to have a look at the team first. Unfortunately, I can't commit to a tactic first and foremost. So Cassidy wants to move on, and he has got a release clause in his contract. Let's have a look then. So active relegation release clause at £49.5 million, and he does want to leave the club. And to be quite honest, if teams want to come in and pay that, I will be more than happy. If he moves, he'll be worth more than that, without a doubt. I mean, he's currently valued at 40 to 49 million, but he's at a championship club, so I mean, he's an unbelievable player. If we could keep him, it'd be great, but it's not going to happen. So yeah, there's a lot to look at. There is a lot to look at for sure. And do move on, move on. Yeah, we've got a lot of work to do. I think from what I can tell as well, a lot of the staff have left the club as well, so we've got to completely rebuild this team from top to bottom, I think. Let's have a look in terms of staff. Yeah, they've got some coaching staff, but they're not very good, are they? They are not very good. We'll have to wait until tick over for next season and see what happens in relation to the staff and the squad. But I think the staff's going to be the first thing to sort out. If players want to leave, they can. To be quite honest, they all want to. Jallo is worth a good amount of money. Again, he's a solid defender, but he's 29 years of age. Let's just have a look at general info. It's a balance. Well, I say it's a balanced team. There's a number of young players in the squad. Boularud wants to leave because they got relegated, but he's probably the best youngster at the club. All of the majority of the squad are 26 years of age and above, so they are missing out a little bit on younger talent. A number of players in their mid 30s, early to mid 30s, so again, a lot of them could probably leave as well. And Buemo's 29, and he's the best player. I mean, at one point, I think he was worth about 70 million. Obviously, having been relegated, he's not worth anywhere near that amount of money. So it's unfortunate, but we are going to have to take cut price deals for a number of these players, I think. And we'll have to see what kind of business we can do. It's going to be a tough transfer window, I think, that is for sure. Certainly an eventful one, if nothing else. Overall, the balance of the team is not that bad either, but again, I think we need some exciting young top class talent. But in order to do so, we will need more money to spend. We've got a good amount of money in the wage budget, funnily enough, but only £100,000 to spend. Um, I don't know if we'll get refreshed budgets at all for transfers, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, do I really go in for a gegenpress? With all these players leaving, I really don't know whether it's going to be worth it or not. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to set up the way I did previously at Dundee United. It was a system that really worked well, and I think in doing it like this, we'll be quite well focused defensively, especially if we've got good players in there, which I am hoping we will have. And if we've got the ability going forward as well, I dare say that we might do well with this system. It is a bit cautious of me to do this, but I always have it on positive mentality as well, so it could be something that works well for us. We'll have to see how things go, because obviously pre-season's going to be something to focus in on too. But again, with this squad, it shouldn't be too bad. But like I say, it's not actually ticked over to next season yet, because as you can see, it's got all of the previous games that they've played. So, but with a number of these players, they weren't good enough to play a lot last season, and some of them are going to get released, I think. Anyway, from what I can tell, that's a fair point. Are there any getting actually released at the end of the season? So we're at the end of the 29 season. Yeah, so Kenny Tet, who's on 42 grand a week, he's getting released. Mike Penders is going to get released. Randy Vaughan's going to get released. Yeah, he's not particularly brilliant, is he? Vazquez will be leaving, and then after that, everyone's under contract. God, there's some massive contracts here, isn't there? Mbuemo, 145,000. Cassidy, 110. Even Tony, 100. Salisu, 90. For the championship, these wages are huge. We are going to have to really knuckle down, I think. And I think, to be quite honest, it could be a completely different squad to the one that we're going to start with. But we will have to see what happens with that. And hopefully, like I say, we will be in a position where we can create something with this squad. But it is going to be long-winded. And like I say, we are going to be having a look over the staff as well. So it is going to be a proper club rebuild. Incidentally, when we left Dundee United, they were very secure financially. We've sorted all that out for them, and hopefully we can do the same with Brentford. Let's have a look at the finances of the club. So they're actually £13 million in debt just in the balance of the club. They've got £68.5 million worth of net debt and £13 million of transfer debt. That is not ideal. I mean, one of the bank loans isn't going to be fully repaid until 2038. I'm hoping if we can do well enough in the transfer window, we might be able to sort something out. Ooh, transfer clauses. Let's have a look here. So Josh De Silva, Sheffield United make profit on him. I think we'll just sell the clauses. We're talking peanuts here in terms of the money side of it, but we can get £4 million on a deal from Taylor Howard-Bellis. Keane Lewis Potter, £3 million from that. All this money will do. £1.5 million for Pablo Moreno. We'll have to keep an eye on all these clauses going forward because I genuinely think we could make some money on a lot of these clauses. And there's a lot of players on this list as well. They've certainly had their fair amount of ins and outs, haven't they? But by sorting these clauses out, it's all money into the bank, and it's money that we can potentially use quickly. Some of it is next to nothing, but it doesn't matter. In the words of Tesco, every little helps. Unfortunately, we've also got a number of ones that can be bought, but that means money going out of the club, of course, so we'll have to leave that because there's so many transfer clauses involved. That's one thing I am going to certainly try and not do. So we've cashed in on a few, as you can see. And we've probably ended up with, yeah, we've got £8 million from that, so that isn't too bad. In terms of players coming in, I don't know what I'm going to do at the minute, because obviously a lot of players want to leave, so we'll have to wait and see what holes will appear in the squad. One player I do want to bring in, if it's at all possible, he might not join because, of course, Dundee United are in Europe. I want Polidoro to come with me here. He was a fantastic player for us in each season that we had him, and I think he would be a valuable asset to Brentford, to be honest, depending on which players end up leaving the club. Tommy Doyle, incidentally, wants to stay at the club, so that's a good, solid option in central midfield. George Bellow's actually transfer listed. I mean, the thing is, some of these players are on massive money, and that is going to be a problem this season, I think, in terms of the financial fair play side of things. There's not an awful lot in the development centre either. Oh dear. Yep, no players worth noting in the development centre, so both under 21s and under 18s are not great. Well, we have got a heck of a lot of work to do, so I'd best get cracking. So until next time, guys, thank you very much for all your support. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It is all greatly appreciated. I will see you all next time, and it's going to be a transfer window roundup so far and the start of the league campaign, most likely. And we'll see how many transfers we've managed to get in and out of the club. And this is Big Will, signing away.